Please take your seats, everyone. Please take your seats. Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to exCEPtional Mornings Breakfast. Thank you all for being here. We've got a great breakfast and presentation here this morning. If you would, please rise as we have the prayer and the pledge. And bow your heads. Well, Lord God, thank you for gathering us all together this morning. Bless this community, a community that cares and opens its heart to its neighbors like no other. And guide us as we all work together. Let us lift each other up through our words and deeds. Empower us to love and respect each other and to reveal the very best of ourselves each and every day. In your holy name we pray. Amen. Now the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Well, this morning, we'd like to start out by welcoming our new partners. It's a new month, a whole lot of new partners as always, and if you're here, when I say your name, please stand, and at the end, we'll give you all a big round of applause for all of our new partners. Prayer Life Coach Foundation, Local Ranking Coach, Printing and Promotional Partners, Legacy in Motion Dance Center, Camp Margaritaville Resort Orange Lake, Brody Pierce State Farm, Ocala Massage and Integrative Therapies, LLC, Doyle Contractors, LLC, Ocala Health and Wellness, Monte Primo Restaurante, The Crane Financial Group, Nothing Bunt Cakes, Equine Instincts, ECMD, Element Studio, Haagen-Dazs Ocala, they already have some of my money, William Austin Insurance of Florida, Bell's Outdoor Service, Firestone Complete Auto Care, Liberty Triangle, Morelli's Pizza and Subs, Local EQ, and Altamira Development Company. And we have one partner upgrade as well. RC Homes Pro is going from the entrepreneur to a business level partnership. So not only is Ocala growing, but so are the chamber partnerships. And we are grateful to each and every partner who is investing in our mission to be the catalyst for a prosperous community. Well, Business After Hours, a community staple for over 3 decades. It is the CEP's cornerstone networking event, and join several hundred fellow CEP partners for casual networking, along with food, beverages, and door prizes. And a great one, which will be tomorrow, Pickleball Kingdom, BCS Insulation LLC, and Cogent Bank are this month's sponsors. Business After Hours will be held at Pickleball Kingdom. It is off Easy Street. It is an awesome new facility. Courts will be available, so if you want to play, be sure to wear some tennis shoes, and you will be able to play. It is tomorrow, July the 16th, from 5 to 7 p.m. Well, speaking of new partners, CEP 101, our partner orientation, sponsored by Pixelem, is coming. We do it every month. It's an opportunity to network with other partners to find out more about the programs and services and learn how to maximize your benefits for the best return on your investment. And the next session will be July the 29th. And if you're looking for more chances to network, check out 2 great opportunities coming up in Bellevue. It's next week. All Bellevue CEP events are open to all CEP partners as part of your partnership benefits. Continue to make those connections by networking in South Marion, and you can register yourself or any of your employees for all of our programs and events through your partner portal. Well, we love Tuesday Talks, and it is sponsored by our friends at Cogent Bank. The next session will be August the 4th. The presenter in this next one will be Georgia Wooten. She is the Vice President of Crime Prevention Security Systems. Join Crime Prevention Security Systems for an inside look at how technology is transforming safety. From access control and emergency alerts to intelligent cameras and AI detection, today's systems work together to prevent threats before they happen. And CPSS empowers organizations to create safer, more connected environments through proactive protection and smarter response. So join us for Tuesday Talks, sponsored by Cogent Bank, August the 4th. And you guys, our CEP partners, now have a new way to share your stories, your press releases, and important announcements through our partner news. Submissions can be made directly through our CEP partner portal, and once approved, content will be featured on our website for both partners and for the general public to see. It is a great opportunity to increase visibility, to highlight accomplishments, and to keep the entire community informed, all in one place. Check it out, ocalicep.com/news. Well, growth brings opportunity, and it also brings more cars on the road, in case you haven't noticed. In the July-August issue of CEP Network Magazine, we are highlighting the transportation projects that are shaping the future of Marion County, from road expansions to bridge improvements that are designed to keep people, businesses, and commerce moving effectively. The July-August issue of CEP Network Magazine will tell all about what lies ahead in that realm. And it is available now. You may have seen it out in our lobby. Grab one on your way out if you haven't already. Well, have you checked out 1 Million Cups yet? It is absolutely one of the best ways to connect with our local entrepreneur community. Normally the program meets every Wednesday from 9 to 10:30 at the Power Plant Business Incubator. It is open to everyone, whether you're a CEP partner or not. But today, this morning, is a little bit different. This week, it will be the traveling 1 Million Cups. It will be held down the street at Midtown Station beginning at 9 a.m., immediately after our breakfast. And if you have time, we really encourage you to stop by for this morning's 1 Million Cups. Continue the conversations that you started here this morning and support all of our local entrepreneurs. Well, applications are now open for Leadership Ocala Metro Class 40. And if you know of a strong candidate who would benefit from this incredible leadership experience, encourage them to apply and do it soon. The application deadline is coming up very soon. In fact, it's this Friday, July the 17th. So for questions and additional information, just contact Andrea Bailey at the CEP. It's andrea@ocalicep.com. Well, as we continue celebrating America's 250th anniversary, Habitat for Humanity of Marion County is marking a milestone of its own. You can join them for the 250 for 250 variety show. This is going to be fun. It's a special one-night fundraiser. It celebrates the organization's 250th home build, and it's for a local veteran family, and it's honoring our nation's 250 years of history. That's going to be really fun. It's next Friday, July the 24th. Well, today's nonprofit spotlight is the American Heart Association. Be sure to stop by their table out in the lobby and learn how they are helping create longer, healthier lives in Marion County and beyond. They'll also be sharing information about the Marion County Heart Walk. That is taking place Saturday, October the 17th at Citizen Circle. The Heart Walk is a community event that brings together individuals, families, and organizations to celebrate survivors, to honor loved ones, and support the fight against heart disease and stroke. Visit their table, learn how you can get involved. You can do it as a walker, as a volunteer, as a sponsor, or as a team participant. Well, we are always appreciative of our 2026 series sponsor for the Exceptional Mornings Breakfast. It is HCA Florida Healthcare, and our speaker we'd like to welcome up Luis Pacheco, the Vice President of Operations at HCA Florida, West Marion. Let's give Luis a round of applause.
Like, the accident was right near a hill, and as soon as I got into the second lane, the guy came over the hill. Once I saw his headlights, that's probably hit me on the right side.
Erica came to HCA Florida Ocala Hospital as a level 1 trauma alert. She had sustained a cardiac arrest in the field and a second cardiac arrest in the ambulance on her way here.
107/56.
Erica had severe life-threatening injuries. After we did the initial resuscitation, we found that she had a traumatic brain injury, traumatic facial injuries, and multiple fractures in many of her extremities.
So Ms. McClellan, when she came into us, she was dependent with all her activities: bathing, dressing, transfer, standing, walking. She was non-weight bearing on all 4 extremities, so she needed help with any and everything that had to be done for her.
Go ahead and stand up for me. And you probably will feel that. It wants to help pull you a little bit.
During her stay, she did get 24-hour intensive therapy with physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy. Obviously, we have rehab nursing that sees the patient. We're a sister hospital to HCA Florida Ocala Hospital.
How are you, Ms. McClellan?
There is a great continuity of care where the same physicians that saw patients in the acute care hospital are able to see the patient here at West Marion Rehab.
Hey, it's great to see you on your feet again. You've come a long way.
She depends on me. I'm her only biological parent that's in her life. I will always be a fighter. I can either cower down and let it consume me, or I can fight back, and I will always choose to fight back. HCA definitely saved my life. I'm very happy to be alive. I get to be here for my daughter.
It's an amazing story, but
at HCA, because of our outstanding trauma teams and the close coordination they have with our inpatient rehab, is why we're able to, HCA, Florida, Ocala, and West Marion are able to share stories like this. We are proud at HCA Ocala that we are the only level 1 trauma facility in Ocala, and at West Marion we have not only the 5th largest inpatient rehab facility, but they're also the only one in the nation that has earned the accreditation for the stroke accreditation by the DMV. Also sharing news, in 2027, we're expecting to open our 6th freestanding ER Canopy Oak, which is on the entrance of On Top of the World. It will generate 45 full-time jobs, and this is a $15 million investment that we're doing to the community. And also, one thing that we do monthly is nominate a favorite teacher, and then leadership from Ocala Hospital and West Marion provide the teacher with a $250 check, and also share lunch and spend time with them. Thank you.
Thank you, Luis, and thank you to HCA Florida Healthcare for being our series sponsor, as always. Well, our monthly sponsor for July, our great friends at H2 Advisors. I'd like to welcome up Jimbo and Jim McCarthy. Come on up, you guys.
Morning, everybody. This morning, you get the misfortune of dealing with the 2 average Jims from H2 Advisors. We want to thank the CEP for having us. We love sponsoring this event every year. Great to see everybody here. Very well run, well attended. And we're excited to tell you a little bit about who we are, what we do, and how we can help your business on the great American racetrack, and figure out what turn on the track is your business in. So I'm going to pass it to the more above average Jim, our partner, the other Jim McCarthy at H2, to talk a little bit about that.
Thanks for having us, Tom, and we really enjoy our partnership with the CEP, and I think by above average he means overweight and old. So we're excited to be here today and not be too salesy with you guys, but this concept of a racetrack is something we think can resonate with business owners out there. Let me get my little clicker here, see if I do this right. There you go. Oh, look at that, 1 in a row. All right, so about 8 years ago, our story was born by mergers and acquisitions firm out of Jacksonville, Florida, with a 40-year-old CPA firm here in Ocala. And what we set out to do was really provide a better client experience. That was really the theme that we started off with. And we've been very fortunate to put all of our horsepower under one roof and be able to, in fact, do that, provide what we think is a better client experience instead of having folks who are out looking for multiple types of maybe professional services. We have it all under one roof. It saves you time, it saves you money, it saves you effort. So we do the normal CPA things like tax and accounting work. We do valuations, which we also do high-end services like eminent domain. We do some expert witness testimony. We do mergers and acquisitions, obviously. And today is a little bit about where you are on that track, whether you're a startup. I gotta get my clicker here. Whether you're a startup in turn 1, or maybe you're starting to grow a little bit in turn 2, maybe maturing in turn 3, or even in turn 4 today. Some of you probably have companies where people are already knocking on your door for a possible exit. When we think about startup in your first couple of years, you're thinking, wow, it's the American dream. I've always wanted to own my own company. I'm so passionate about my job. And you get things going, and you wake up and you're like, this doesn't really feel like such a dream anymore, right? You have the stress of carrying everything, of making payroll, making sure all your employees are set, all your customers set, if you have them, hopefully. And it's not quite the dreamy thing you see in the movies. Hopefully you make it through that, you get into the growth stage, you start to get your legs under you, and you're starting to have some customer wins, customer acquisition, you're starting to build your culture, and you have maybe more of a real feeling company, but still you're sitting there. I talked to people in the lobby today, like, I'm tired, right? I'm not exactly sure what my next step is, or whatever the case may, whatever the case may be. When you're sitting in that chair as an owner, it's not an easy thing, and people think it's very dreamy, and you have all the answers, and you just walk through your day, and everything works out. Obviously, business owners in this crowd know that is not the case. Stage three. Bingo. So stage three is another spot where many of you might be, where you have matured, but you still have the issues. All along the way, you've probably made a lot of decisions you wish you didn't make, and you've probably made a lot of decisions that were very successful. Being in these different turns, at times it's hard to stop and plan and do things what people might say is the right way. Getting your books in line, making sure you have all your numbers, you're tracking the right things, et cetera. Those are things that can be boring at times when you're trying to be a hard-charging entrepreneur. We're there to try to help you each one of these turns so that hopefully it gets a little bit easier as you're moving through your track and maybe ending towards an exit at some point. Not that every company needs to exit, but most people like to go out with a plan for that. So when you get to exit, I went a little too fast there. A lot of people arrive here and unfortunately they haven't done the things they were supposed to do. And so you have to do a lot of backtracking, and it costs a lot more money. It takes a lot more time and a lot more effort if you haven't done it right in turn 1, 2, and 3. Not to say you can't fix things, you can, right? And we have to do that all the time for folks, but we're here for you at whatever spot you are on that track. Whether it's turn 1, 2, 3, or 4 almost ready, we're here for you and can help along the way. We've got 2 offices, one in Jacksonville, one in Ocala. I can tell why CEP Ocala wins the Chamber of the Year award all the time because you guys are here so darn early and working and being productive, and the Jacksonville people are still sleeping, so congrats to that. Let's go. Which turn is your business in right now, Jimbo? Why don't you give them some?
Yeah, so real quick, we just want to see a show of hands. If you're in turn 1 in startup mode, raise your hand. Okay. See a couple. Turn 2, get in a growth stage. Love it. Turn 3, maturing. And then turn 4, maybe contemplating an exit. Okay. Thank you, guys.
We're going to give you a little bit of juicy info that we put together, Jimbo and the team put together, about what's going on out there if you are getting close to what's happening in the market from a transaction standpoint. So year-over-year volume is way up in the transaction world, 46% year-over-year. Average EBITDA for transactions between 10 and 25 million is almost 6x. That is also up. There's $2.5 trillion of capital that are sitting on the sideline trying to get put to work and looking for good investments, good assets. So if you have a company out there, maybe not quite ready, the money is active right now, valuations are really good, the velocity is really good, it's a good time to at least be thinking about conversations. There's a little more data for you before we wrap up. If I could get this little clicker to, oh wait, I got it, sorry. So you've got $5 trillion in boomer-owned businesses changing hands by 2035, 46% of those companies have zero plan. So I just think about this, kind of staggering to think you have that many businesses out there that will move in the next 9 years and they don't really have a plan for it, so we can help with that. You can see the other stats here around Florida, 60% of small businesses expect to sell within the next 10 years. Small businesses are the backbone of our economy. Some people say that all the time. I firmly believe it. Thank you to all the entrepreneurs that are out there. Thank you to you guys that came out today to listen to us. Jimbo, you could finish it off here.
Yeah. Thank you guys for listening to the 2 Average Gyms this morning. If you guys want to talk to us, to book we call it a strategy lap, 30-minute session, you can scan that QR code. It takes you to our contact page. We also have a table out front with some information to figure out what turn you're in. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you to the CEP for having us, and hope everybody has a great rest of the week.
Thank you, guys.
Better than average gyms. Better than average. Thank you, guys. Thanks to H2 Advisors for being our monthly sponsor. Well, as many of you know, our CEP CEO, Matt McCormick, has been a strong advocate for economic growth, of course, throughout the Ocala Metro. And one of the areas that he's been especially passionate about is the continued advancement of aviation. From supporting strategic investments to championing the role of the Ocala International Airport as a key economic driver, Matt has helped position aviation as an important part of our community's future. I'd like to welcome up Matt, who will introduce today's great speaker.
Well, good morning, everybody. How are you this morning? That was sad. Good morning, everybody. All right, there we go. Wanted to take a second before we bring our great speaker out to give us an update on the airport and everything that's going on out there and all the exciting things to come in aviation. Wanted to take a minute to go over some things that we're working on at the CEP around aviation. As you know, and as Tom just said, aviation is one of our priorities at the CEP. And we have been working together and partnering with the airport, partnering with the city, partnering with the county on a demand analysis. And what does that mean? Demand analysis takes a look at our catchment area, or in some arenas, our service area, right? But our catchment area, and takes a look at the different details like who's traveling, where they're going, where they're coming from. Believe it or not, you can see all that every time you travel. You can be you're tracked to see where you're coming from and where you're going. And so it takes a look at all that data to be able to bring back to us so that we can take that to the airlines. So we can take that as we are working with potential commercial service airlines, we can take that to them and so that they can see that. Over my last 12 years, where I was prior to here, commercial air service was one of our top priorities. In those 12 years, we were able to land 2 different top-tier airlines and a destination airline there. And I tell you that to tell you this. Why would I tell you that, right? I tell you that to tell you this is the fact that this is a marathon. It's not picking up the phone and calling an airline saying, hey, we're a really cool place and we think you should be here. There's so much more that goes into it, so many things that go into it. This took, like I said, it took 12 years for us to be able to do that, and we did that through COVID, along with building a new airport, all kinds of cool things that we were able to do. But there's so many things that go into it, like taxiways, runways, aprons, infrastructure, security, all those things that take place into it, and a lot of things that Matt's going to talk to you about here in just a second. So we're starting that process with this demand analysis. One of the things that really goes into, and one of the things that I want to encourage you and make sure that you know that airlines take a look at is you, our business community. How is our business community supporting commercial air service? How will you support it moving forward? Business travel is one of the constant travels. Vacation travel that happens once or twice a year is not your constant with airlines. That's kind of the cherry on top of the sundae, if you will, right? But you are business travel, that makes up a majority of what that travel is. And it takes you being able to support it. It takes you supporting, encouraging, and changing the habits helping change the habits of your team and your staff, making sure they're flying through there if we're able to get those and when we're able to get that commercial air service. It takes revenue guarantees. It takes marketing guarantees. It takes other things that need to take place to be able to recruit these airlines here. So with that in mind, and with the understanding that you are the important linchpin, and that's one of the things that floored me as I started working with airlines, and as we started working with airlines, how much they look back at our business community. With that in mind, I'd like to introduce our guest speaker today. So please join me in welcoming Matt Groh, Airport Director for Ocala International Airport. Matt brings more than 30 years of aviation management experience, beginning his career in Colorado before joining the city of Ocala in 2005. During his tenure, Ocala International Airport has experienced tremendous growth through major infrastructure improvements, expanded business development, and continued growth of both corporate and general aviation, all while operating as a self-sustaining enterprise for the city of Ocala. His leadership extends well beyond airport. There's so much more to Matt than airport, and if you know Matt, you know this. Matt serves on the board of the Tony Janis Distinguished Aviation Society, is past president of the Historic Ocala Preservation Society, and currently serves as vice president of Hope Clinic of Ocala, helping expand access to health care for uninsured members of our community. With that, please give a warm and loud CEP welcome to Matt Groh.
Thank you.
So Shelter, we're a tenant of the airport. We provide all the services for the general aviation, military, and maybe one day commercial operations out of here. It's kind of cliche, but everybody's, we're one big happy family, which we are. We all work together really well. We work with Chef Jeremy, we work with Matt and his team, and we have a great environment that helps with the day-to-day. Everything's just so easy. Anytime we have something out of the ordinary happen, we can all just pick up and run with it because we know how to work with each other.
Summer of Elevation 89, we're a restaurant that we kind of came in here about 4 years ago and wanted to create something that was significant to Ocala and kind of a spot that people would want to visit and make a stop when they came into Ocala. Our partnership with the airport is, I think, phenomenal. We work together to, whether it's planes coming in and catering on for them or customers coming in and just creating something special for Ocala that other places don't have. We work really, really well together, whether it's, city meetings or caterings or, just promoting each other. I love being part of it. I love being, I feel very humbled and privileged to be part of something that is so unique and that not a lot of places have. And Elevation 89 and our restaurant group is just proud to be part of something for the city and for the people of Ocala.
PRP Aviation is a veteran-founded aviation organization that specializes in essentially one-stop shopping for people who want to travel in a Cirrus aircraft. When PRP Aviation was in its infancy, we were home based here at Ocala with 3 families that wanted to own an airplane. We looked at a lot of different airports, and one of the things we found was that the Ocala International Airport, mostly because of its leadership, but also with the support of the city, it's very business friendly. So they made it the most inviting location for us to start this business. And we went from renting a T hangar and owning an airplane privately to we now have 27,000 square feet of hangars, several acres worth of leases, and a multi-million-dollar company. And it wouldn't have happened if it weren't for the Ocala Airport. Aviation is definitely at a turning point. When we look at where we started 110 years ago to where we are today, to where we start looking at electric air vehicles and the complexity of freedom of access with people operating aircraft, whether they're conventional aircraft or these new electrical eVTOLs, the skies are going to get nothing but more crowded. 40 years from now, I think the aviation space is going to be very, very different. It'll probably look something like the Jetsons.
Good morning. Bear with me 1 second. Hey, Meta, take a picture. Awesome. Okay. All right. So thank you to the CEP for inviting me this morning, and thanks to everybody for taking time out of your schedules to join us as well. I hope you enjoyed that opening video. Most people don't get to see the Ocala Airport from that perspective. From the air, you begin to appreciate not just the airport itself, but how much our entire community has grown around it. What you see are neighborhoods expanding, businesses being built, and new opportunities taking shape. It's a reminder that the airport doesn't exist on an island. It exists as part of a community that's growing faster than almost anyone could imagine. Now, before we officially depart on this morning's journey, I want to answer a question that I hear more than anything else, and I'm sure you can guess what it is. When are we going to get airline service? It's a fair question. For many people, it's how they judge whether an airport is successful. If there aren't passenger jets lined up at the terminal, they assume the airport hasn't reached its full potential. Today, this morning, I'd like to challenge that way of thinking, because commercial airline service is only one small part of what modern airports do. Frankly, the decision isn't ours to make. Airlines decide where they fly. They study passenger demand, route profitability, aircraft availability, competition around surrounding airports, and long-term business strategy. So we can help them in their decision by obtaining some of that data that we were just previously spoke about. But communities don't simply request airline service and then receive it. The airlines determine if a market fits their network. Now, could commercial service become part of Ocala's future? Absolutely. As our population grows and our economy expands, those conversations become more realistic. We're always willing to have those conversations with those airlines, but here's what I'd like everyone to understand. Commercial airline service isn't the finish line. It's not the only measure of a successful airport. In many ways, it's yesterday's conversation, because aviation itself is changing. It's changing much faster than most people realize. Today's conversation isn't simply about where airplanes fly. It's about how aviation is being transformed. Electric aircraft, vertical takeoff aircraft, autonomous systems, artificial intelligence. Those aren't ideas that are 50 years away. Many of them are flying today. If you look at China, they're flying autonomous air cargo flights. They've been doing it since September 2025. They just started flying pilotless passenger flights in March of this year. In the US, everybody's laughing. In the US, these new aircraft are close to achieving FAA certification, and some are expected to enter commercial service within a few years. Which brings me to today's theme. The future of flight is closer than you think. And the question we ask ourselves every day isn't whether we're ready for today's aviation, it's whether we're preparing for tomorrow's. Because communities that prepare first are communities that will lead. So when most people hear the word airport, they immediately picture terminals and airplanes and pilots and passengers, and that's fair. This morning, think of airports a little bit differently. Think of airports as infrastructure. Just like railroads and highways, infrastructure exists to connect people and opportunity. Throughout history, communities have grown because they invested in transportation before they absolutely needed it. Railroads transformed towns and cities. The federal highway system transformed regional economies. Today, airports play that same role. They connect businesses to customers, doctors to patients, emergency responders to communities, or investors to opportunity. The airport isn't simply where airplanes land. It's where economic opportunity arrives. That's why I often say our airport isn't just an aviation facility, it's an economic platform. So as Ocala continues to grow, that platform becomes ever increasingly more valuable. So let's talk about who we are today. The Ocala Airport is owned by the City of Ocala, but we operate as a self-sustaining enterprise fund. That essentially means that the revenue derived on the airport stays on the airport. It goes to help fund infrastructure projects, operations, maintenance, grant match, things like that. We're proud to be one of Florida's FAA Part 139 certificated airports. That certification allows us to accommodate large air carrier style aircraft and maintain the highest operational standards with that certificate. We're also fortunate to have a fully staffed FAA contract air traffic control tower. Including myself, there are 6 employees overseeing the management and operations of the 1,500-acre facility. There's a select group of dedicated aviation-rated Ocala firefighters that provide emergency services out there, and all combined, this enhances the safety and improves efficiency of the airport operation. So every year, our airport handles tens of thousands of operations. So last year, we logged 110,000 operations, or 300 daily operations. One takeoff is one operation, one landing is one operation. That's how they count it. A touch and go may be 2, a bad landing 3 or 4. There's a part of me that wanted to ditch the speech and just use the platform to start my stand-up career, but I love aviation too much. So think about what those operations represent. Every takeoff and landing tells a story. It might be a physician, it might be a business executive, an equestrian. It might be a family-owned company flying in and out of the airport, a daughter or son visiting parents. Could be a military or law enforcement mission. It could be an air ambulance flight, or it could be a training flight. Behind every flight is a business decision, a community connection, or an opportunity exploited. Those aircraft movements represent economic activity. So why does the airport matter? Every community wants new businesses and high-paying jobs. They also want investment, but those things don't happen by accident. Companies evaluate communities every day. They compare workforces, taxes, education, housing, and transportation. Transportation often becomes one of those deciding factors. Those companies ask themselves, can executives reach us? Can our customers reach us? Can supplies move efficiently? Can we grow here? And those questions matter. The CEP spends every day promoting Ocala as an outstanding place to invest. They recruit employers and support existing businesses like yourselves. They market our community across the country. At the airport, one part of our job is to make sure the transportation infrastructure supports that mission. Think about the industries that have made Marion County successful: the equine industry, healthcare, manufacturing, construction, distribution, and tourism. These industries don't simply benefit from aviation. Many actually thrive and depend on it. And that's one reason Ocala continues to attract investment. Businesses know they can connect to customers, suppliers, and opportunities through infrastructure that's in place or that's planned for. Next slide. Okay. So the image that you see depicts the aviation and the non-aviation properties available at the airport. There are over 400 acres of aviation properties and 400 acres of non-aviation properties. The non-aviation properties are real important because activation of those sites will provide revenue to the airport that will go to support the aviation mission. So all the shaded areas, this is State Road 40 right here, north is to the right. These are all the non-aviation properties along State Road 40. We've got interior sites here and all the way down close to 38th Avenue. And then all the aviation properties are all the light-colored green and the dark-colored green hangars and west side development. So those non-aviation properties are incredibly important. We're doing what we can to market those and advertise those, and like I said, to activate those. So what does the future look like and where are we headed? So before I answer that question, I'd like to point out something that's easy to overlook. The airport you see today didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen by chance. Every runway improvement, every apron expansion, every hangar, every investment in safety, they've all been part of a long-term strategy because airports must think differently than almost any other industry. Airport infrastructure often takes decades or more to plan, from concept to completion. So by the time you realize you need a new taxiway or a new runway or additional aircraft parking, you're already behind. And that's why planning is so important. Next slide. There we go. One of our biggest responsibilities is preparing today for needs that may not fully materialize for another 10 or 20 years. And that requires vision, it requires partnerships, and it requires a lot of funding. So one of the greatest strengths we've had at the airport is our ability to leverage state and federal funding, grant funding, to support local infrastructure. Every grant we receive represents an investment in Marion County. These dollars allow us to improve our airport while reducing the financial burden on local taxpayers. Since 2005, the city has secured over $38 million in FAA and FDOT grant dollars that supported $47 million in aviation projects. We couldn't accommodate the incredible growth that we've experienced over the past 10 years without those grant dollars supporting those projects. We'll continue to pursue every federal and state grant because they prepare us for opportunities that haven't arrived yet. Infrastructure isn't always about solving today's problems. It's also about creating opportunities for tomorrow. So when the new terminal opened in 2020, there was one flight school in the airport. Now there are 5. There was one charter service, and now there are 3. The old restaurant had 25 seats. The new one, Elevation 89, who all's eaten at Elevation 89? Yay, thank you. The new one has 100 seats, and you really should reserve ahead on Open Table. The city's wrapping up its 2026 master plan update. That effort is reflected above me. It addresses the current capacity issues and using today's data extrapolates a forecasted need over the next 10 to 20 years. So I'm going to point out a few things on here. This large area, so if you're familiar with the new terminal, that's right here on the map. 60th Avenue, State Road 40, north is to the right. This large development of aviation properties here, this represents our West Side hangar campus. Could be future FBO, fixed-based operators. It's basically a gas station for airplanes. That's what that acronym means. The FAA is full of acronyms. Corporate hangars, it could be maintenance, repair, and operations hangars. We're showing a electric vehicle hub in this location. We're relocating the crosswind runway, shown here. We're relocating that into a parallel runway right here. We're actually reserving property for a future permanent air service terminal. And while the master plan didn't specifically address airlines, we do on a limited capacity just by making sure that it'll fit somewhere within the puzzle. Next slide. So let's talk about something that I think is incredibly exciting. The aviation industry will change over the next 20 years. The aviation industry will change more over the next 20 years than it has in the previous 50. Many of us grew up watching the Jetsons. I wanted to walk out to the theme song to the Jetsons so bad. I did, but we couldn't justify the licensing fee. But flying cars, vehicles lifting straight into the air, transportation that seemed impossible. Back then, it felt like pure science fiction. Today, it's literally engineering. So companies around the world are investing billions of dollars into what we call advanced air mobility. You may have also heard the term eVTOL. It stands for electric vertical takeoff aircraft, takeoff and landing aircraft. Think of them as the next generation of aviation. They're quieter, they're more efficient. They're powered by electricity or a hybrid mix of jet fuel and hydrogen rather than traditional aviation fuel. Instead of needing a long runway, many of these are operating off of facilities that are 1,000 to 500 feet in length. And that's numbers are relative, right? So to put it in perspective, the main long runway at the Ocala airport is 8,400 feet long. Imagine boarding an aircraft of 4 or 8 seats and lifting off vertically out of Ocala and flying to Orlando, Tampa, Jacksonville, or wherever in far less time than it takes to drive. That is the mission of those aircraft. So this that you're seeing right now, this isn't a scene from a movie, this is real. Companies like Joby, Archer, Beta, Electra, Eve, and Whisk are already flight testing these aircraft. Excuse me. Some have completed thousands of successful test flights. Several are moving through the FAA certification process as we speak. Commercial operations are expected to begin within the US within the next few years. Uber has partnered with Joby, one of these aircraft manufacturers, to study rideshare programs. Joby has partnered with Toyota to help solve manufacturing issues because the demand for these aircraft is going to be enormous and worldwide. Remember, it was only 11 years ago that SpaceX was learning how to land rockets vertically. Now look at them. That's where we are. The future isn't decades away. It's already taking shape. And airports across the country are beginning to prepare. The question isn't whether these aircraft are coming. The question is, will we be ready when they arrive? Okay. These new technologies are here, and I wanted to point this out. This is the new Cirrus. Well, it's not new, but this is the Vision Jet, single engine, single pilot operation, very roomy inside. This person is pushing a big red button. It's not eject, right in the top center of the cockpit, right? It's not the eject button. It's the auto land feature. If for some reason in this aircraft, if the pilot becomes incapacitated or for whatever reason they need to land, somebody can push that button, the airplane takes over. It makes the radio calls, it talks to air traffic control, finds the nearest airport, and if it's bad weather, it flies the approach into a landing, lands the aircraft, speaks to the passengers, advises them how to safely exit the vehicle, the aircraft, and it will also alert and speak to the emergency crews on how and teach them how to safely shut down the engine. So these technologies are already here. Aviation is transitioning. Next slide. Thank you. Aviation is transitioning, and Ocala has an opportunity to lead. Our responsibility isn't to predict or adapt to every technology perfectly. It's to build an airport that's adaptable, flexible, scalable, and ready. Readiness has become the foundation of our long-term vision. When we talk about the airport development today, we're thinking beyond traditional aviation. We're asking questions like, do we have the electrical infrastructure to support electric aircraft? Are we preserving land for future aviation uses? Can our facilities accommodate emerging technologies? How do we position Ocala to compete with other metropolitan areas? Those are the conversations happening today. And they're happening because aviation is evolving. The communities that prepare early won't simply keep pace. They will lead. And I believe Ocala has every opportunity to be one of those communities that lead because we're willing to think ahead. We're willing to invest strategically. And we're willing to prepare before everyone else recognizes the opportunity. That's how our community gains competitive edge and advantage. So in the management of the airport, everything we're doing can be summarized into 4 priorities that will guide us over the next decade and beyond. The first is business and industrial development. We mentioned activation of those non-aviation and aviation properties. Every new business creates jobs, supports local contractors, they generate economic activity, and they support and strengthen the tax base. Those revenues from those non-aviation opportunities will fund those aviation needs. The second, air service and connectivity. This doesn't simply mean solely commercial airlines. Connectivity is much broader than that. It's about ensuring that businesses can reach Ocala efficiently. It's about supporting corporate aviation. It's about making our community more accessible for investment. It's about giving companies confidence that transportation will never become a barrier to growth. What this means is being able to accommodate and be flexible with commercial airlines, advanced air mobility, eVTOL, and general aviation concurrently, safely, and efficiently. So, can we go back? So I wanted to point this. I shot this picture. This is 2017. This is a Delta 757. Flew in. They dropped off Tennessee football, who ultimately lost to the Gators 26-20. But the point is, these aircraft can fly in and land at Ocala right now. The third pillar, advanced air mobility and eVTOL. These technologies that we just discussed aren't replacing traditional aviation. They're expanding what's possible. As these aircraft become commercially viable and available, communities that have prepared will have a tremendous advantage. We want Ocala to be one of those communities. And then finally, the fourth pillar, infrastructure and capacity expansion. So everything begins with infrastructure. Runways, taxiways, aprons, hangars, even technology. Without infrastructure, none of those opportunities become possible. That's why we continue to pursue every available grant and funding opportunity that comes our way. Every investment we make today creates flexibility tomorrow, and flexibility creates opportunity. And if you remember one thing from today's presentation, I hope it's this, is that infrastructure doesn't create headlines, it creates possibilities. And that's exactly what we're building at the Ocala Airport. So if that's the vision, what does success actually look like? The most difficult part of this job isn't speaking to 400 of my business peers and friends and neighbors. It's not making sure that the right readers are on my head to read the notes. That was actually a thing. It's addressing the requirements of those 4 pillars, while ensuring that aviators, like the gentleman giving the thumbs up in that yellow Piper Cub up there, continue to thrive. That's how I'll measure success. So thank you for your time. Thank you to the CEP for the invitation to be here. It really has been a wonderful experience, and I hope to see you at the airport soon.
All right, so exciting to hear about all the incredible things happen at the Ocala International Airport and all the things that are coming down the runway soon. The future is definitely now. Let's give Matt Groh one more big round of applause. Well, next month's speakers, it will be an energy panel. It will be Duke Energy, Ocala Electric Utility, and Seco Energy, presented by Reveille Wealth Management. Thanks again to HCA Florida Healthcare, also to H2 Advisors for being our sponsor today. Let's make every day in the Ocala Metro an exceptional one. Network on.
Falling too fast to prepare for this. Tripping in the world could be dangerous. Everybody circling as vultures. Negative, nepotist. Everybody waiting for the fall of man. Everybody praying for the end of times. Everybody hoping they could be the one. I was born to run. I was born for this. Whip, whip, run me like